Cheryl, thank you so much for being here.
Such a pleasure.
And how does it feel to go from South Dakota to Hollywood to Texas, and now you're back in small town Kansas again?
It was a wild ride. it was a lot.
Yeah.
I was a very innocent kind of young woman when I got there, and not very sophisticated in the ways of the world.
Sure.
And, the world can swallow you up. Show business can swallow you up. And, kind of got a little lost in that for a while, and then realized that I wasn't ever going to be happy. It was never going to be enough, or I was never going to feel like enough until I got a hold of my Lord. And that changed everything.
Yeah. What is it about fame that you can't recognize being on the outside of it? When you're in that, when you're so famous, what is that like, and what is it mentally, where does that put you?
What I realized, that being famous was not why I wanted to be an actor and a singer and a dancer, because those are ways of communicating with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved using my body, and I was a gymnast.
Mm-hmm.
I was just a very active child.
Mm-hmm.
And my father played the guitar, and I loved music, and I just knew that that's, as my person, who God made me.
Mm-hmm.
It was just there.
Yeah.
I just responded to that in an enormous way, and it took me to Hollywood, but I was very ill prepared for the pressure, not a lot of Christians I didn't meet, or there wasn't a lot of that surrounding me.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just got more and more and more pushed to the side when
Sure.
everything was that, getting that success.
Yeah. Well, what would you say, because there's there's nothing new under the sun, but there's a different kind of fame now with the internet fame and all that stuff. What would you say to
Get off
these?
the internet is what I would say, especially
Randy is agreeing with
girls.
you.
Just get off.
But what would you say to these people
Or
that
look
find
at
themselves
things that
chasing
build you
that?
up. I know. It's always been a little bit, for women, a very difficult thing, because from the time you're a little girl, isn't she pretty?
Right.
And look at her lovely hair. And there's always this little spotlight on the cute girls and the pretty girls.
Yeah.
And so then you find yourself chasing that along the way.
Yeah, you get those affirmations.
Yes, and it feels good.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you see a picture of yourself and you never thought you were, and then you go, hey, as a teenage girl, you fall into traps that way.
Yeah, and I'm trying to help my daughter. I say, hey, be smart, then be cute. I tell her that. She's probably tired of me saying that, but that's
Yeah.
what I tell her. Hey, show people how smart you are.
Yes.
And then be cute. Well, you were so smart on Charlie, and you're a very accomplished actor. Charlie's Angels isn't the only thing.
No, it was the rocket ship.
But it was the rocket ship and a huge vehicle.
But I've been on a lot of space flights.
I know, and it's so cool to look through your credits. But are there any shows now that you enjoy that feel like embody that Charlie's Angel spirit? Because it seems like there are a lot
Not
of shows
so
that kind of pit women against each other, but there's not a lot
Yes.
where they're working in concert together to accomplish
I think
something.
that's why it became so popular. 3 very attractive women, young women, had power. They had dignity.
Mm-hmm.
They cared about each other. They were a really good example of women. And they got one of the fun things was being able to become all these characters, as I talked about before. I had a Swedish accent one day, and I was a biker girl the next day, and I got to play all these really interesting characters. Somebody threw knives at me at the circus play. It was just one of the things that was really fun about the show is I was a clown in a circus. I got to create all of these different people.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it
that's so
kept it
fantastic.
interesting for me. It didn't get boring.
Yeah, I love it. Well, when you were in the last question about that, when you were in that fame at the height, like you said, of your power, and it was all falling apart inside, what would you say to somebody who maybe finds themselves in that situation today? They have the house, they got the car, they feel like they have it all together on the outside, but on the inside, it's just not
They're not
working for
fulfilled.
them.
No, it's like getting on a treadmill. You can like seeing, oh, you're on that treadmill and you can't get off. You can't get off. Oh, now you're going to do this, and now you're going to go over here, and now, oh, this person wants to see you, and then this person wants to, and then, and it's all about this exterior thing coming at you all the time, and it eventually, the self of you, the truth of you, the real you, the heart of you, the soul of you, gets diminished more and more and more.
Yeah.
And I had a breakdown. I mean, I had everything I had hoped for and wished for.
Yeah.
And fame and jobs offering and money and all of that, and I was so unhappy. I was so unhappy.
And that's where the faith component came back in for you. You said, this is something I've been missing.
I started out knowing it,
Sure.
drifted away, but he never lets go. If I could say anything to people, Jesus is there. He's right there, and he's waiting for you, and he's patient and forgiving and loving. And when he comes back into your life, it's like somebody opened the curtains to a completely different world when you're living it with him.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Thank you for bringing a little bit of sunshine to a cold Kansas day. And most of all, thank you for still being a champion for children. The work you're doing is so important and so valuable.
So important.
Thank you for that.